Hey everybody, this is Phil with PrecisionLED, and today we have a 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee that we'll be installing LED interior lights on. Now this installation is compatible with both the 2010 and up Jeep Grand Cherokee as well as the third generation Dodge Durango 2010 and up. We're going to get started here with the front overhead map lights, and as you can see on the passenger side, we've already installed the LED, and we'll be showing you how to do so on the driver's side. You're going to be using one of the trim tools that came with your LED package from PrecisionLED.com and using it to pry at the front of that lens cover to pop it off. Once you have the front side popped off, you can wiggle loose the back end, and as you can see on that cover, there are two access points that are holding it in place along with the front clip. Once you have it off, we're going to be using a pair of pliers to pull out that old halogen bulb. If you don't have pliers, you can try to use your fingers, or you can use a piece of tape attached to that halogen bulb and pull it out. Once you do have that bulb out, replace it with your new LED bulb, and you'll want to test the bulbs to make sure they work. If they don't, reverse the polarity of that bulb by turning it around 180 degrees and reinserting it. Now you can test the lights and put that cover back on. The vanity mirror lights actually have two lights per vanity mirror. You'll be using the fork-shaped trim tool to remove the covers on each side. Work your way inside to outside to remove that cover. You'll then use the pointed wedge tool to get access to that halogen bulb and pry that one out. The new LED bulb is polarity specific, so when you do put it in, you'll want to make sure that you test it and make sure that it turns on. If it doesn't, flip that bulb 180 degrees to change the points of contact and try it again. Once you have that LED bulb in, go ahead and reinsert that lens cover, pop it back in place. This Cherokee model does come with the footwell lighting, and we can replace it with an LED. It's a dome-shaped white cover underneath the driver's side and passenger side footwells that illuminates when the vehicle's doors are open or the courtesy lights are on. Now this bulb is slightly larger, it is a T15 type, and the kit does include a larger LED type bulb to accommodate that extra space and that extra brightness. Once you have that LED bulb in, you'll want to make sure that it does turn on. Again, if it doesn't, go ahead and turn that bulb 180 degrees to change the points of contact and try it again. Now the Jeeps come with a dome light on each side, on the driver's side and passenger side, in the rear, underneath each handle. You can use the fork-shaped wedge tool to pry out that lens cover, and once you do, you'll notice that it's a little bit more difficult to get access to that halogen bulb. You'll want to use the pointed wedge to push out the halogen bulb to get it a little bit easier access to it and to remove it. Once you have it out, again, replace it with the LED and ensure that the polarity is correct by testing the bulb first and making sure it works. You can then just go ahead and put that cover back on and repeat the same thing on the other side. There are two lights in the rear. You can consider them the tailgate lights or the trunk lights, but you do have to remove the trim for the trunk lid to get access to it. You can use one of the thicker trim tools and slowly work your way around the perimeter of that trim and pop off all the small tabs that are holding it in place. This is completely reversible and can be put back together, so don't worry about damaging the vehicle or not being able to return it to stock once you've completed this process. Once you have all of the tabs removed and you have the cover off, you'll see that there are two wire connections going straight to those bulbs. You need to disconnect them so you have better access to that trim without it dangling from the roof. Alright, so now that we have the trim from the trunk lid in a better workable position, you can see here when you move that cotton foam away, there is a bulb housing that can be removed to get access to that bulb. You do need to be careful here and remember how it is that you remove this bulb, because it's a little bit tricky getting it back together. There's three tabs, triangular in formation, that are holding that in, and you'll be putting pressure on one of them to at least remove it. And again, when you put it back together, you'll be lining up those three tabs to click it back in place. Make sure that when you have the bulb in, that you are testing it to make sure it works. And the best way to do that is to turn all the interior lights on in the vehicle to get the trunk lights to turn on, and then turning them all back off. Now the license plates are actually pretty easy to replace with new LEDs. As you can see, on the passenger side, we've already installed the LED. On the driver's side, we're going to show you how to replace it. Use the fork-shaped wedge to remove the lens cover and remove that halogen bulb, and put the new license plate LED bulbs from your package in, and make sure you test to make sure they work before putting that cover back on. Again, if they do not work, reverse the polarity by flipping that bulb 180 degrees to change the points of contact, and then test again. Once you know they work, put that lens cover back on. Use the 2 tabs facing towards that rear view camera in first, and then clip the other side in and wait for that noise. That's the end of the installation. If you have additional questions or concerns and need to reach us, we can be emailed at help@precisionled.com or reached on